Okay, let's unpack what is, I think, the greatest communication tool ever invented. Music.
It really is. It's one of those few languages on the planet that just works for everyone.
Right. It completely bypasses logic and speaks directly to your gut. It's like this secret pathway for sharing deep feelings, complex ideas, all without needing a single word.
That's a great way to put it. And what's so fascinating is that while it feels like magic, it's actually more like high-level engineering.
How so?
Well, think of a great song like a gourmet meal. Musicians aren't just grabbing random sounds. They're using very specific, identifiable ingredients and techniques to turn sound into, well, into stories and emotions.
That's the perfect framing. So our mission today is to give you that sonic blueprint, the key concepts musicians play with every single day.
We're moving past just listening and into understanding how that feeling of joy or that suspense is actually built.
And we'll start with the most fundamental things that give music its pulse and its power. Volume and pace.
Let's start with dynamics. And this is simply the science of how loud or quiet the music is. Musicians use Italian terms like piano for soft and forte for loud.
But the real insight isn't the definition, right? It's the contrast between them.
Exactly, it's the
Yeah.
contrast.
I think that's so crucial. It's the change in volume that really sells the emotion. It's less like a volume knob and more like a suspense trigger.
A sudden shift from super soft to extremely loud, we call that subito dynamics, it creates pure drama.
I can picture that in a movie.
Absolutely. If a section is played very quietly, it pulls you in, makes you lean forward. It might signal intimacy or maybe that something dangerous is lurking.
Right.
And then, bam, a huge, loud chord hits. That jump isn't just noise, it's a calculated shock designed to get a physical reaction out of you.
So while dynamics is about the scale of the sound, tempo is about its timeline, the speed.
Yes, and we all intuitively get this. Fast music makes you feel energized, slow music makes you feel thoughtful or sad.
It's a deep psychological connection. A fast tempo, maybe 160 beats per minute, it mirrors excitement, a rapid heart rate. It makes you want to move.
While slow music, say 60 BPM, like a heartbeat at rest, it encourages relaxation. It literally slows our internal clock down.
You hear that so clearly in something like marching music versus a lullaby. One is all about pushing forward, the other is designed to calm you down.
And musicians rely on the drummer or the conductor to keep that pace steady. We measure it in beats per minute or BPM.
And if you're learning an instrument, you've definitely used a metronome, that little clicking box.
A tool for perfect mechanical timing. But what's interesting is that great performers don't always stick to it perfectly. They might speed up or slow down just a little. It's called rubato, to add some warmth, some human feeling.
So once we have that speed locked in, we can look at the actual patterns. And this takes us to rhythm.
Right. So if tempo is the steady timeline, rhythm is the pattern of long and short sounds you draw on that timeline.
It's often called the heartbeat of the song. It gives it that groove, that structure.
Rhythm is what makes music feel physical. If tempo is how fast the car is going, rhythm is how many times the horn honks and for how long.
And different genres are instantly recognizable by their rhythms. A classical waltz is always in that 1-2-3, 1-2-3 pattern.
Whereas rock music usually has that strong four-on-the-floor beat that just drives everything forward.
And then you get into something like jazz, which often uses what are called swum rhythms.
Yeah, they feel bouncy, almost like a skip. It gives the music that energetic swagger.
And these can get incredibly complex, can't they? I'm thinking of polyrhythm.
Oh, yeah. That's when you layer several different independent rhythmic patterns on top of each other. It's common in West African drumming. It sounds incredibly full and sophisticated.
It's like your brain is trying to follow multiple heartbeats at once.
Exactly. So moving from that structure to the part that you actually hum later, the melody.
The melody is that sequence of notes you recognize as the tune, the part that gets stuck in your head.
And at the core of every melody is pitch, which is simply how high or low a note sounds.
And that's just physics, right? The speed of the sound wave's vibration.
It is. Higher frequency means higher pitch. But in musical terms, we feel high pitches as bright, maybe urgent. Low pitches feel heavy, dark, and powerful.
And composers create emotional movement by shaping the melody's contour.
The contour is everything. Pay attention to how the melody moves. If it goes up and down by small, gentle steps, it sounds smooth and cohesive.
Very singable. It feels grounded.
But if the composer uses big, athletic jumps between low and high notes, we call those leaps, it adds immediate excitement, a sense of space. That's how a melody gets its character.
Okay, so once you have that melody, it needs some backup. some weight.
And that's where harmony comes in. Harmony is when you play two or more different notes at the same time. It creates a richer texture that supports the main tune.
The building blocks of harmony are chords, and the quality of those chords is how composers mess with your feelings.
They really do. When the harmony sounds pleasant and stable, we call it consonance. Consonance feels resolved, like coming home.
And on the other hand, if the notes clash and create tension or suspense,
That's dissonance. And dissonance is not wrong music. It's a powerful tool. You hear it constantly in scary movies to create anxiety.
so musicians create this journey for the listener, moving from the tension of dissonance to the stability of consonance.
It's a constant push and pull. That's what makes it emotionally satisfying.
So if harmony is the support structure, what about the actual sound itself? The character of an instrument?
Now you're talking about timbre, or as it's sometimes called, tone color.
Right. This is the unique quality that lets you instantly tell the difference between a violin and a piano, even if they're playing the exact same note.
It's the sonic fingerprint of an instrument. A trumpet has a bright, brassy timbre that cuts through everything, great for heroic moments.
Whereas a cello has that deep, woody, kind of soothing timbre, often used for sad or thoughtful themes.
And musicians have a huge toolkit to play with timbre. An electric guitarist can step on a pedal to make their sound fuzzy or distorted.
So choosing the right instrument, the right timbre, is a huge decision for a composer. It sets the whole emotional landscape before a single note is even played.
It really does. Which brings us to how those notes are actually performed. Let's talk about articulation.
Articulation is just the specific way a note is started and ended.
Think of it like punctuation. We have two main types. First, staccato notes that are short, crisp, detached.
Like raindrops, they can sound playful or sometimes sharp and aggressive.
And the opposite is legato, where the notes are smooth and connected, they flow into one another.
Like a calm river. And whether a passage is staccato or legato can completely change its feeling, from tense and jumpy to smooth and romantic.
And building on that is phrasing. Articulation is about single notes, but phrasing is about how you group them into a musical sentence.
Just like a speaker pauses for breath between sentences, it gives music a natural shape.
Exactly. Without good phrasing, music would sound mechanical and boring. Phrasing gives it direction and helps you understand the mood. It makes it feel like a story.
So if we zoom out even further from phrasing, we get to texture.
Texture just describes how many layers of sound are happening at once, how thick or thin the music feels.
The simplest is monophonic. That's a single melody line with absolutely no accompaniment.
Like one person whistling a tune. It's very focused, very intimate.
Then you have the most complex, which is polyphonic.
Right. This is where you have several independent melodies all weaving around each other at the same time. Think of a complex piece by Bach. It sounds incredibly rich and dense.
But the most common texture, what you hear in almost all pop music, is homophonic.
That's the one. It's one clear, dominant melody supported by chords underneath. It's easy to follow and gives the music a really clear structure.
And composers use texture to build momentum. You might start with a thin texture, just a voice and a piano to feel intimate.
And then you gradually layer in drums, bass, strings, making the texture thicker and thicker. It's one of the best ways to build excitement and create a huge emotional climax.
Okay, our final section touches on the most human elements of all this, starting with genre.
Genre is basically the category pop, classical, jazz, country that follows certain agreed-upon rules and traditions.
And knowing the genre is like a guidepost for the performer. It tells them how to approach the music.
For sure. If you're playing country, you're probably going to hear an acoustic guitar or a fiddle, and the focus is often on clear, relatable storytelling.
But if you're playing classical, you're working within a huge orchestral structure, exploring these long, complex, emotional ideas. So exploring genres is really like exploring different cultures.
And when you see music live, you're getting something else entirely. Stage presence.
This has nothing to do with the notes on the page. This is all physical, all visual. It's how the musician moves and shares their energy with the audience.
It's everything from body language to eye contact to facial expressions. Confidence up there on stage helps the audience relax and connect with the energy of the performer.
It's true. A great performer knows that half the story is told with the body, not just the instrument.
And all of this leads to the final, most personal layer, interpretation.
This is the unique touch a musician brings to a piece of music, even one written centuries ago by someone else.
This is why 100 different pianists can play the same Chopin piece, and every single performance will sound profoundly different.
One might play it a little faster, another might really lean into the dramatic, loud and soft parts.
And a third might stretch out the timing to make it sound more sorrowful. Interpretation is the ultimate freedom. It lets an artist pour their own feelings and life experience into the music.
It's the bridge between the black and white symbols on the page and the living, breathing heart of the listener.
So when you listen to your favorite song now, you're armed with this understanding. You can appreciate the thousands of tiny, conscious decisions the artist made.
Decisions about speed, volume, texture, and color, all to communicate directly with you beyond words.
Understanding these components is really the key to unlocking the full power of musical expression.
See you next time.